Chapter 1307. Huamin turned his head in surprise and saw that it was Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi was a complicated person. He came all the way from Jing City just to work with Qin Chu and enter the European and American markets. However, a few days ago he signed a huge contract with Imperial Star and became GK's rival. Moreover, he shamelessly challenged a young lady of GK. This was a mystery. Huamin didn't care. He would fight whoever he fought. Therefore she walked over with a pool cue in her hand. Annie Liang and Jian Tong were rivals, and they would compete with each other wherever they went. Especially in recent years, Jian Tong had become more popular, so Annie Liang was jealous of her. Unintentionally, these two rivals were paired together. On the other hand, Tang Chuan and Wei Liao were paired with some older celebrities. In the end, only Hua Xiqian and Qin Chu were left. Hua Xiqian walked over with one hand in his pocket and smiled. "President Qin, let's have a match?" His tone was gentle, but his eyes were challenging. Qin Chu knew that Hua Xiqian seemed to have been waiting for this opportunity for a long time. He seemed to have wanted to have a match with him for a long time. However, Su had always been there, so he hadn't made a move yet. Faced with Hua Xiqian's challenge, Qin Chu only replied with one word proudly. "Okay. Show me what you've got. I want to see if the man Mian likes is as good as he seems." Hua Xiqian sneered. Then he picked up his cue stick and walked past Qin Chu. The 20 people had an exciting match on the 10 tables. There were more than 500 people watching from all walks of life. There were also countless people watching in front of the TV. Although it wasn't as formal as the professional snooker players, it was still exciting. Jian Tong and Annie Liang's sparks flew as soon as they started. They looked like they were going to eat each other up. However, the truth was that they weren't very good. The only reason they were able to advance to the next round was because their opponents were too focused on their beauty to play, so they lost. Everyone knew that the most interesting players were Hua Xiqian and Qin Chu. The Hua Corporation wanted Mr. Li's 3-year contract. GK wanted it too. Qin Chu didn't say anything, but he didn't want to lose to Hua Xiqian. As a spectator, Su didn't feel any pressure and just watched calmly. However, unlike others, he didn't care who would win, Hua Xiqian or Qin Chu. He wanted to see Hua Mian play basketball. He had never seen her play so well before. It was at this moment, it was the right decision. Qin Chu, Hua Mian, Qin and Qin Jian Tong and Annie Liang were in formal wear, so their postures were limited and they couldn't play to their fullest potential. For example, in evening gowns, when they lowered their heads, their cleavage would be exposed. Their postures weren't good either. The same went for Song Yisher. Hua Min, on the other hand, was very steady as soon as the match started. She hit 3 balls in a row, and all of them went in. Jiang Yi didn't even have a chance to make a move. When Hua Min hit a difficult ball, she gestured in a few directions, but she didn't think it was safe enough. In the end, she used a pole vaulting method. She had the white ball jump up and hit the target ball with one ball between them. Then it slowly entered the hole. Just then the camera in front of the TV swept over them. Everyone watching couldn't help but clap. The live commentators were also very excited. Lady Qin's skills were amazing at the beginning. On the 4th ball, she used a difficult pole vaulting method. It was so beautiful. Su Yu stared at Hua Min without blinking. His eyes were filled with unconcealable love and admiration. "So, Hua Min, you're not going to save any face for me?" Jiang Yi rubbed his nose and helplessly asked with a smile. He liked Hua Min, so he didn't want to work for Qin Chu and signed with Imperial Star. He signed her up to play because he wanted to have more opportunities to spend time with her. However, he didn't think that she would be this good. She didn't save any face for him. If this continued, the match would be over before he even got on the court. Because Hua Min was going to clear the table. Chapter 1308. Hua Min calmly glanced at his face. "I don't know you that well, why should I give you face?" Jiang Yi was speechless. Hua Min was the type of person who didn't leave any leeway for others. With one sentence, Jiang Yi was rendered completely speechless. To Hua Min, Jiang Yi was a complete stranger. Whether he signed with GK or not, it had nothing to do with her. Hua Min played billiards when he was young and later he learned about snooker. However, he didn't practice it on purpose. A few years ago he would occasionally play a few rounds with Zhu Lingling. He didn't think that he would still be good at it. Jiang Yi wanted to take this opportunity to interact with Hua Mian and say a few words to her during the break. However, to his surprise, this girl cleared the table in just a few moves. She didn't give him a chance. In a game like this, Whoever started first had a higher chance of winning, so for the sake of fairness, the players were decided by drawing lots. In the other group, Song Yisha was quite lucky. She was the first to go on stage. However, her skills were far inferior to Huamin's. After 2 shots, she missed the third one. Although Ni Yang wasn't an expert, he was more than capable of dealing with Song Yisha. That was why he dared to promise Huamin that he would help her torture Song Yisha. You're actually quite an interesting person. You're afraid of losing to my sister and embarrassing yourself, so you chose me to be your punching bag, right? Unfortunately, my skills are just a little bit better than yours, so just wait for me to torture you. Before Ni Yang started playing, he said this to Song Yisha. She was so angry that her face turned pale. However, Ni Yang was a man of his word. He didn't give Song Yisha a chance to retaliate and slowly cleared the table. Song Yisha was wearing an evening gown and a fur shawl. She stood on the side like a flower vase. Cousin, how could you make such a mistake? Now they've got the chance. I'm so worried. Song Yishuan was anxious but couldn't do anything to help. Jian Tong and Annie Liang had similar skills, but Jian Tong had a higher EQ, so she always said things that made people angry to provoke Annie Liang, causing her to make mistakes. Do you think you can sit back and relax after going to GK? Unfortunately, President Qin doesn't like you, so you won't stand a chance even if you go. Anyway, you're useless at Imperial Star and President Su doesn't like you either. If I were you, I would have retired from the entertainment industry a long time ago. After all, I'm getting old. Jian Tong said with a smile. Liang Annie was so angry that her hands were trembling. She gestured for a long time, but she still hadn't scored a single goal. On the other hand, Jian Tong had already scored 2 consecutive points. Hua Xiqian had actually planned to meet Qin Chu in the finals. However, he suddenly changed his mind. He felt that it would be more interesting if he eliminated Qin Chu now. He could really take away his limelight, so they met in the 10th group. When Qin Chu came today, he thought that he would be at odds with Su Yu just like last time at Venice. However, to his surprise, Su Yu forfeited, and Hua Xiqian took the initiative to provoke him. However, he wasn't too surprised. Hua Xiqian had been hostile towards Qin Chu for a long time. He could clearly feel that. At the same time, he also felt that Hua Xiqian didn't have good intentions towards Huamin. Qin Chu was much more cautious against Hua Xiqian than he was against Su Yu. He knew that Su Yu was a straightforward person and wouldn't play dirty. However, Hua Xiqian was different. He was capable of anything. There were some things that others didn't know, but he knew. Rick's men had been keeping an eye on Hua Xiqian, even though they didn't have any concrete evidence. However, he definitely had something to do with Hua Xinghai's death. However, Qin Chu didn't tell Huamin about this. He didn't want Huamin to worry, nor did he want Huamin to get involved in this smoke-filled battlefield. Qin Chu was very lucky. He drew the starting line, so his hands were very smooth and he scored 5 consecutive points. At this rate, the table was going to be cleared and Hua Xiqian was going to lose for sure. Just as Qin Chu was about to score the 6th point, Hua Xiqian lowered his head and whispered in his ear, "I heard that you've been investigating Mion's background." Chapter 1309. Qin Chu's hand trembled slightly and the force of his shot deviated a bit. Then the ball almost stopped at the hole. It didn't go in. Qin Chu made a mistake. Everyone in the audience sighed. They all thought that Qin Chu would be able to beat Hua Xiqian. Damn. What's going on? Qin Chu only got his 6th shot. Tang Chuan, who had just finished his game and returned to the resting area, was obviously disappointed by Qin Chu's mistake. I think something happened, Wei Liao analyzed. Su Yu turned around and looked at the slow-motion replay on the big screen. Then he slowly said, "I don't know what Hua Xiqian said to Qin Chu, but he got distracted. Something that could distract a 1,000-year iceberg like Qin Chu. It must be something important, right?" Tang Chuan guessed. Could it be something to do with Huamin? Wei Liao added. Su Yu didn't say anything, but he already knew the answer in his heart. Over the past few days, he couldn't say that he understood Qin Chu's powerful opponent very well. However, he knew one thing, and that was that Qin Chu only cared about Huamin. That was something that nothing could compare to. Therefore, Hua Xiqian's words must have something to do with Huamin. Otherwise, someone as steady as Qin Chu wouldn't get distracted so easily. Huamin was in the middle of a game when he heard the audience gasp. She couldn't help but look up at the big screen. Huamin was a bit surprised when he saw Mr. Qin make a mistake. How is that possible? She had experienced Mr. Chin's skills before. When they were dating in high school, they would sometimes skip class and go out to play. They would occasionally go to the billiard hall. Back then when they played, everyone in the hall would come and watch. Because he played too well. When they were young, it was inevitable that they would show off their skills. Everyone was flabbergasted. For Chin Chu, as long as he was given the opportunity to start, he would definitely clear the stage. There was no doubt about it. But why did he make a mistake? When Huamin was distracted, he also made a mistake. The ball did not go in. Jiang Yi finally had a chance to turn things around. Wow. You made a mistake. Jiang Yi smiled proudly. Huamin turned around and glanced at his face. Even if I make a mistake, you can't beat me. That confident. Jiang Yi stared at Huamin's face with interest. Because you don't have the ability to clear the table? Huamin sneered. Huamin's disdain angered Jiang Ye's pride as a man. He was more than 10 years older than Huamin and was considered a superstar of the older generation in the entertainment industry. Even a big shot like Emo Schwecker treated him with respect. But now he was being mocked by a little girl. Jiang Yi was furious. He gripped the pool cue tightly, aimed, and exerted force. In the end he was disappointed, but the ball did not go in. This was within Huamin's expectations. Huamin was a neurologist and often dealt with neurological patients. He was similar to Jiang Shaowei and was especially good at analyzing people's minds. She purposely disdained Jiang Yi and angered him, causing him to lose his composure and lose his game. It was a psychological tactic. Unlike Huasiqian's was a despicable threat. He knew that Chin Chu cared about helping Huamin find out his background, but he still brought it up at a time like this. Jiang Yi and Huamin are basically going to win. Huamin is going to crush him, Tang Chuan analyzed after taking a sip of water. Wei Liao looked to the other side and smiled with his arms crossed. And Ai Yang is also going to crush Song Yisher. Finally, when it was Su Yu's turn to summarize, he said in all seriousness, Chin Chu is going to lose, Huasiqian is definitely going to win. No way. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan clearly didn't believe him. Chapter 13:10. Just watch, Huasiqian is playing mind games. He's grasped Chin Chu's weakness and will keep attacking. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan had always thought that Su Yu and Chin Chu were on the same level. Huasiqian was on a lower level than the two of them. That was why they had always underestimated him. They thought that he was just a rich man who relied on his status as an adopted son to get rich. However, Su Yu didn't think so. He had known Huasiqian for 3 or 4 years now. They weren't good friends, but they were quite familiar with each other. They would often run into each other at nightclubs and drink together. Su Yu had long known that this person was ambitious. He wasn't as simple as he seemed on the surface. Today he took the initiative to provoke Chin Chu, which meant that he was confident in winning. Although Su Yu said so, Wei Liao and Tang Chuan still had some doubts. This was because Huasiqian's skills weren't very good. At most they were decent. However, compared to the supermasters like Huamin, Chin Chu and Su Yu, he was still quite a distance away. As expected, Huasiqian couldn't play after 2 shots. The ball deviated from its course. It was still quite a distance away from the hole. The ball once again fell into Chin Chu's hands. He picked up the pool cue, regained his prestige and began to make consecutive shots. However, as expected, Huasiqian didn't stop talking beside Chin Chu's ear. You better stop investigating, it won't do me on any good. It seems like you know everything. Chin Chu wasn't surprised because he and Huamin had already guessed that Huasiqian knew about it. Yes, I do know a lot. So? Chin Chu raised his eyebrows and looked at Huasiqian. So, do you want to consider losing to me? Maybe I'm willing to say more. Huasiqian smiled confidently. On the other hand, it was a 3-year contract with Mr. Li. On the other hand, it was the mystery of Huamin's birth. How would Chin Chu choose? Needless to say, it was definitely the second one. Because in Chin Chu's eyes, nothing could be more important than Huamin's matter. Therefore he deliberately tilted the ball and missed it again. Huamin, who wasn't far away, couldn't help but feel nervous when he saw Chin Chu's repeated mistakes. What was Huasiqian up to? Why did Mr. Chin keep making mistakes? This was absolutely impossible, unless his emotions were affected or he lost on purpose. Amidst the questioning voices, all 10 groups were finished. When the results were announced, everyone was surprised that Chin Chu actually lost. Oh my God, Lord Su, you're a fortune teller. It's just as you predicted. Tang Chuan exclaimed that Su Yu's guess was spot on. Suyu calmly looked at the scene. It was exactly as he predicted. The remaining 5 people were Hua Xiqian and Ai Yang, Huamin, Tang Chuan and Jian Tong. However, in terms of points, the other 3 completely lost. Huamin was far ahead, while Hua Xiqian beat Tang Chuan by a hair's breadth. This made Tang Chuan very unhappy. He couldn't stop cursing. Forget it, you know that if it weren't for Hua Xiqian's tricks and if Qin Chu advanced, you wouldn't have made it to the final round either. In the end it would still be Qin Chu and Huamin, Wei Liao comforted him. At the critical moment of the competition, only Hua Xiqian and Huamin were left. This pair of brother and sister in name were at each other's throats. Hey, guess who's going to win? I think Huamin's going to win. That girl is really good, she cleared the entire stage. Someone said. I think Hua Xiqian's going to win. He beat Qin Chu, he's really something. There were all kinds of comments. Huamin was afraid that Qin Chu would be in a bad mood, so she walked over in front of everyone. She wrapped her arms around his waist and said coquettishly, "Honey, don't be sad. I'll win it for you in the final round." Huamin thought that Qin Chu was sad because he was worried about Mr. Li's contract. Chapter 13:11. Don't feel too pressured. Just do your best. I don't care about Mr. Li's contract. Qin Chu gently stroked Huamin's hair by her ear, his tone extremely gentle. He really didn't care. If it weren't for Mr. Li, he wouldn't have even come. Why would he care about the contract? He was distracted just now because he wanted to help Mian find out the truth about her background. Because this was the biggest knot in Huamin's heart. So many people were watching, but Qin Chu and Huamian acted as if no one was around. It was as if they only had eyes for each other, which made the host very envious. People have been saying that President Qin is a henpecked man, and it seems like they're not baseless. Although President Qin lost to President Hua, he was able to get the safety of his beloved wife. I have to say it's a blessing. I heard that Qin Chu and Huamian were childhood sweethearts. They were so passionate when they were in high school. Someone whispered in the crowd. Yeah, I heard about it too. They were both students at second high. Lady Qin was the top scholar of her year and got into second high with the highest score. She's awesome. I also heard that they broke up for some reason and President Qin went abroad. But when he came back, he immediately married Lady Qin. Look at them, this is true love. Not many people can be together with their high school sweetheart. Everyone chimed in one after another. This was the first time Huamin was so shameless as to act coquettishly with Qin Chu in front of so many people. She smiled at Qin Chu, afraid that he would be in a bad mood. So she kept trying to make him laugh. Huamin is too much. She's torturing us in public in such a formal setting. Tang Chuan complained. She's not torturing us, she's torturing Lord Su. Wei Liao said in all seriousness. Su Yu seemed to be used to their teasing, so he didn't say anything. However, when Huamin hugged Qin Chu with both hands and acted coquettishly, he subconsciously looked away. That scene was too beautiful. He couldn't bear to look. Although he already knew that Huamin didn't belong to him, seeing her in Qin Chu's arms, blossoming gentleness, he still felt a dull ache in his heart. After coaxing Mr. Qin Chu for a while, the time was right. Huamian changed her cue stick and returned to the ultimate PK stage valiantly. So many people were watching their final showdown. Hua Xiqian was as he's. Back then he, as he see. S, teat, she's estes, s, t, s, s's, t that made it even easier for him, Mian. You have to go easy on him later. Hua Xiqian didn't know when, but he stopped calling Huamian little sister. It was just too simple, Mian, but he felt warm every time he called her that. Huamin quietly glanced at him. Don't worry, since we're both Huas, I won't let you lose too badly. Upon hearing this, Hua Xiqian smiled brightly. He liked how unbridled Huamin was, as if he was the only one who could do it. From afar, Song Yisher observed Hua Xiqian's expression. She suddenly said with a complicated expression, when he's facing Huamin, his entire person changes. Chapter 13:12. Song Yisher was right. Although Hua Xiqian usually smiled, it was just a fake smile. It never came from his heart. He was a person that no one could see through and no one knew what he was truly thinking. Just like how he wasn't excited at all even though he was in control of the Hua Corporation. It was as if everything was meant to be his. However, when he faced Huamin, he was different. Song Yisha used to think that Huasiqian and Huamin were working together and using each other. However, just now she carefully observed Huasiqian's micro-expressions. She was shocked to discover that this wasn't the case. Did Huasiqian put in so much effort to set up this big show? Was it really for Mr. Li's 3-year contract? It was hard to say. Maybe it was for something else. Huasiqian looked at Huamin with such an honest and warm smile that Song Yisha was shocked. To Song Yisha, Huasiqian was the devil. However, to Huamin he was a nice guy. Huasiqian's signature on WeChat was very special. In the past, Song Yisha only thought that he wrote it casually. However, she felt that it was different now. There was a saying, "Don't ever get to know me from other people because I'm not the same to everyone." Could it be that? Huasiqian and Huamin? Song Yisha wasn't sure. "Cousin, what's wrong?" Song Yishuan asked curiously when she saw her cousin's strange expression. "I just had a crazy idea." "What idea?" Song Yishuan was even more curious. "I'm not sure yet. I have to see the results of the competition." Song Yisha thought that if Huasiqian really liked Huamin, then the winner of this competition was already set. Huamin would definitely win. However, if Huasiqian cared more about benefits, then he would definitely think of a way to win against Huamin. If he wanted to deal with someone, he had thousands of ways to deal with them. Even someone as calm as Qin Chu was about to break down because of him. Dealing with Huamin was something that could be done in a matter of minutes, right? The question was, did Huasiqian want to deal with Huamin? This was the key question. After analyzing the situation, Song Yisha suddenly felt like the finals. Therefore, she paid more attention to their micro-expressions. Qin Chu took a small sip of his champagne and watched the scene calmly. He didn't know how Huasiqian would deal with Huamian. What's to Huamin, Huamin's Huazas, Huamin's Huasiqian would get the 3-year contract. However, Qin Chu had the same thought as Song Yisha. He didn't think that Huasiqian's goal was to win against Huamin. Therefore, the outcome of the competition was uncertain. "Lord Su, let's bet on big or small." "I'll bet on Huamin," Tang Chuan laughed. "I'll bet on Huamin too," Wei Liao quickly added. After 5 seconds of silence, Su Yu calmly said, "I'll bet on Huamin too." Fuck. All 3 of them are betting on the same thing. What's the point? There's no stakes. Don't tell me you guys don't think Huasiqian will win? He's the dark horse that beat Qin Chu. Tang Chuan deliberately led them on. Then you can bet on Huasiqian. Su Yu didn't mince words. Tang Chuan. Because the 2 of them were in the finals, they attracted a lot of attention as soon as the game started. Huamin was unlucky and didn't get to start. Therefore, Huasiqian had the right to start the game. He picked up a pool cue and casually started the game. It was just like playing billiards, without any pressure at all. However, the atmosphere in the stadium was extremely tense. At the center of the stage, an old man with a serious expression suddenly asked his assistant, "What's the background of the little girl that's going up against the president of the Hua Corporation?" Chapter 13:13. President Li. That's the wife of GK's CO President Qin. His assistant was smart enough to do a thorough investigation. Apparently, when Mr. Li wanted to invest in C-City, he did a lot of research on famous people. He was the most interested in GK because the CEO was too young. Of course, Su Yu from Imperial Star was also one of the best. However, Su Yu was only in the entertainment industry and didn't cover a lot of people. Therefore, Mr. Li was more inclined to work with Qin Chu, which was why they met before the game. They had a great conversation. Mr. Li was over 60 years old and he became one of the richest men in China because he had met countless people. Qin Chu, on the other hand, had a high IQ, a high EQ and a good upbringing. Mr. Li admired him a lot. Although they just lost the game, Mr. Li wasn't disappointed. Mr. Li smiled when he heard that President Qin's wife was the last to enter the finals. "It seems like this couple isn't simple at all," Mr. Li commented with a smile. After Huamin went on the court, he no longer smiled at Qin Chu. While Huasiqian was playing basketball, Su Qingsang watched his tactics and playstyle attentively. Huasiqian wasn't that skilled. After making 2 consecutive shots, the third one was in a difficult position. He only missed by a little bit. Huamin's chance came. This girl would clear the table as soon as she got the chance. "I thought I was the worst, but it looks like Huasiqian is even worse than me." Jiang Yi laughed at Huasiqian's misfortune. Mo Shuier, on the other hand, was calm. "What's so bad about him? This is all part of his plan. He likes to play everyone in the palm of his hand, that's what he enjoys." so he doesn't care if he wins or loses. Emo Schweger sneered. She loved Huasiqian too much, so she knew him too well. He didn't care about the result at all, but rather the fun of the game itself. Emo Schweger's heart sank when she saw Huasiqian smile at Huamin. Even when she slept with him, he refused to give her such a warm smile. It was as if she was just a tool for him to vent. Once he was done with her, he didn't need to look at her again. So, compared to Huamin, she was the most pitiful, right? I'm sure you want your boyfriend to win, right? Jiang Yi asked Emo Schweger with a smile. Well, at least I'm better than your untouchable goddess. Emo Schweger mocked. Jiang Yi was speechless. Emo Schweger had always referred to Huamin as a goddess because Jiang Ye's heart was itching for her. Not to mention touching her, he didn't even have the chance to talk to her. For a character like Jiang Yi, Huamin was someone on the altar too far away. Even a big shot like Su Yu had to step aside, let alone a small character like Jiang Yi. She felt that she was a big shot, but in Huamin's world she was the lowest of the low. She didn't even need to think about how to torture him, it could be done in minutes. Everyone quietly watched the match. Huamin was calm and collected, neither arrogant nor impatient. One after another, 4 people entered the arena. This finals is boring, there's no suspense at all. It's basically Huamin bullying Huasiqian, Tang Chuan yelled. Not necessarily. The best part is yet to come. I'm afraid that Huasiqian is going to do the same thing again. If he can mess up Qin Chu with a few words, then Huamin might do the same. Wei Liao was smart as he analyzed Huasiqian's tactics. Now, let's see if Huasiqian has the heart to do anything to Huamin, Wei Liao continued. Su Yu was a little nervous as he watched. He picked up his bottle of water and took a big gulp. Then he quietly watched Huamin, who was wearing a black suit and looking so neat and tidy. Just as Huamin was aiming for the 5th ball, Huasiqian suddenly bent down and said something. When Qin Chu saw this, his expression changed slightly. He was afraid that Huasiqian would use the same method to deal with Huamin. His worst fears came true. I really want to know what Huasiqian said to make Huamin's face darken. Tang Chuan stood up excitedly, gossiping. Chapter 13-14. Even Qin Chu was nervous. He didn't know what Huasiqian said to Huamin. Maybe it had something to do with Huamian's identity. Huasiqian leaned over and whispered into Huamin's ear. His words easily made Huamin's face darken. What he said was, Mian, 7 years have passed and you're still at A? Haven't you gone through puberty yet? Huamin never thought that Huasiqian would say something so frivolous in a situation like this. Plus, she was already at B, okay? Huamin coldly retorted, when did you go blind? Huasiqian. Then Huamin ignored Huasiqian and continued to play the ball calmly, 1 shot at a time without a single mistake. The balls of all colors went into the hole in order. Finally, the black ball made a beautiful spin. After the black ball spun a few times, it rolled steadily into the hole. Then the audience erupted into applause. Hisk. It's so embarrassing to lose to a girl like you. It's not embarrassing to lose to the champion, you're the runner-up after all. Huamin's words were infuriating. Huasiqian didn't know what to say with that one sentence. Song Yisher's face gradually darkened. I knew it. That's what he was thinking. Song Yisher clenched her fists so tightly that her knuckles turned white. He finally understood. Huasiqian didn't like her, but he set her up to marry him. It was all because of Huamin. In the past, she thought that Huasiqian and Huamin were driven by their own interests. That was why they set her up. Now it seemed like Huasiqian was a love-struck type. He liked Huamin. In order to avenge Huamin, he married her and brought her home to torture her. At this thought, Song Yisher was furious. She felt blood rush to her head. Huasiqian. Huamin. I won't let you go. I'll make you die a horrible death. Song Yisher swore to herself. Su Yu finally let out a sigh of relief when he saw that Huamin had won. It was as if he could only feel at ease after Huamin's zzzz. Leaked? There's nothing left to watch. Su Yu didn't want to watch anymore. He just wanted Huamian to win. So he turned around and stood up. Wei Liao and Tang Chuan followed behind him. Mr. Li was obviously very happy. When he presented the trophy, he even took a picture with Huamin and Qin Chu. A young lady of GK won first place at the snooker celebrity night. This news took over all the major media outlets in the city. She just wanted to do her husband a favor, but she didn't expect it to be so high profile. President Qin, you're so lucky to have such a great wife, Mr. Li praised. Qin Chu hugged Huamin's shoulder lovingly. Thank you, Mr. Lee. I heard you guys have been together since high school? Yeah, we've been together for many years. Chin Chu's words made it sound like they had been married for a long time. Huamin smiled slightly and leaned into Chin Chu's arms, enjoying the joy of victory. I'm looking forward to working with GK for the next 3 years. Me too, let's wait and see. Chin Chu elegantly shook Mr. Lee's hand. After the game on the way home, Chin Chu lovingly patted Huamin's head. Honey, thank you for your hard work. It's nothing. Huamin playfully winked. Hisse. My great wife is so mighty, it seems like I'll have to live off of you from now on. Chin Chu laughed. No problem, I'll take care of you. Huamin was very emotional. The two drove all the way back to South Hill Manor. When they were almost home, Chin Chu asked tentatively, Mion, what did Huasiqian say to you when we were playing? Chapter 13-15. He's a pervert. He said that I haven't developed over the years and that I'm still an A, Huamin said as he looked down at his not-so-sexy bunny. Chin Chu was speechless. That's it? Chin Chu raised his eyebrows. Yeah. If it weren't for the fact that I was playing a game, I would have beaten that shameless guy to death with a golf club. He even said that I haven't developed yet. What a joke. I'm at least from A to B now. Then Huamian pulled down her collar and looked inside. Chin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. However, Huasiqian didn't say anything, so he was relieved. He didn't want Huamin to think too much. But what did Huasiqian mean by that? Why didn't Huamin want to investigate further? Huasiqian knew the truth, but he never mentioned it. Why did he keep it a secret for so many years? Could it be that her biological parents were shameful? Gangsters? Drug lords? Chin Chu's imagination ran wild. Honey, what are you thinking about? I'm thinking, to refute Huasiqian's words, I'm going to have to personally examine you. Chin Chu said in all seriousness. Examine what? See if you're an A or AB? Chin Chu couldn't help but smile. Huamin was speechless. But don't worry, this can be changed. I'll try my best to make you AC within a year. Huamin was speechless. So, Mr. Chin, can't we just have a nice conversation? Huamin was completely speechless. He thought Chin Chu was joking. Who knew that Mr. Chin would do as he said and return home to South Hill Manor? He didn't even let her eat. Instead, he carried her into the bedroom and carefully examined her. Then his hands went all over her body. Then Huamin fell into her hands once again. She was so spineless that she couldn't resist Mr. Chin's lingering kiss. She basically couldn't find her bearings anymore. By the time they were done, it was almost 11 p.m. After showering, Huamin leaned on Chin Chu's shoulder. Honey, I'm hungry. Huamin pouted as she protested. Still hungry? Didn't feed you? Damn it. I didn't mean I'm hungry. Huamin couldn't help but hit Mr. Chin's dirty. Chin Chu smiled, got out of bed and put on a bathrobe. What do you want to eat? I'll make it. Just let the kitchen prepare it. You're quite tired, so don't cook it yourself. If my wife wants to eat, I have to make it myself to show my sincerity. Please order. Vegetable noodles will be fine. Huamian was starving. Was. This ate. When they came back, Mr. Chin was so immoral that he directly carried her upstairs to fuck her. Therefore, she didn't have any energy left. She lay on the bed and didn't want to move. Her stomach was still protesting. By the time Chin Chu came up with a bowl of hot noodles, Huamin was already asleep. Her sleeping posture was extremely unsightly. She was lying on the edge of the bed, exposing her entire back. She was really tired. She played a few rounds in one night and won the championship. His girl was always so outstanding. She didn't do much, but when she did, she shocked everyone. Chin Chu quietly put the noodles on the bedside table and carefully carried her back to her original position. Then he covered her with the blanket. If time could stop, he would want to be frozen in this moment forever. Chin Chu felt that ever since he married Huamin, he became a lot more fragile. He didn't dare to imagine what it would be like to lose Huamin. He already saw her as a part of his life, a part that he couldn't live without. It was December 28th on the lunar calendar, because most of the doctors at Southside were on vacation. Huamin decided to spend the last day of her shift, and then celebrate Chinese New Year. What she didn't expect was that the first patient who came in that morning was. The moment the door opened, the person who came in almost made Huamin scream out loud. Chapter 13-16. Sis, I missed you so much. With that, Jing Jixin pounced on Huamin and gave him a big bear hug. Huamin was dumbfounded. Then she punched Jixin and cried, "Brat, didn't you say you were busy with school and wouldn't come back? If I didn't say that, how could you be so surprised?" Huamin was truly surprised. Thinking about how long it had been since she last saw Jixin, there were a few times when she couldn't help but want to fly to New Zealand. However, first of all, she was busy with work and didn't have that much time. Second of all, she felt that Jixin wasn't a child anymore and didn't need to worry so much. If she was too nervous, it would make him feel stressed. A month ago, when the siblings video called, Jixin said that he wouldn't be coming back. Because there was no Chinese New Year overseas, there was no special holiday. Jixin was quite busy with his studies and didn't want to delay it. Huamin thought that was fine too. After all, boys' studies were more important. Therefore, he wanted to discuss with Qin Chu that he wouldn't go anywhere during the Chinese New Year and would stay at home with his mother. Otherwise, his mother would inevitably be very lonely. However, he didn't expect this kid. The brother and sister hugged each other tightly like that. For a long time they couldn't bear to let go. Huamin doted on Jixin very much since he was young, even though he later found out that he wasn't related to him by blood. It didn't affect their strong sibling relationship at all. Jixin wasn't as naughty as some boys who always got into trouble or asked his sister for money. Instead, he would find ways to work and earn money to share his sister's burden, so Huamin was even more gratified. "Sis, don't cry, it's so embarrassing. How old are you?" Jixin let go of Huamin and raised his hand to wipe away Huamin's tears. He hadn't seen his sister in a long time, and as soon as he saw her he started crying. "I really missed you," Huamin choked out, then let go of Jixin and looked at him up close. Jixin was wearing a navy blue jacket, dark blue jeans and white tennis shoes. He was carrying a black backpack on one shoulder, and he looked very youthful. "You little brat, you've grown taller." Huamin looked at the 19-year-old Jixin, who was already 1.78 meters tall. He was a whole head taller than her, and Jixin looked even more manly. She was different from when she left. At that time she was still a little immature. It seemed that a lot had changed in the past few months. When she left, Jixin was devastated by Huang Yu's death. Huamin had reluctantly sent his younger brother away, allowing him to train and grow on his own. Now it seemed that this decision was the right one. Huamin was overjoyed by Jixin's return. She poured a cup of hot water for Jixin, then pulled him aside and started asking him questions. For example, was it cold in New Zealand? Are you used to it? Did you sleep well? Were you bullied? Jixin chuckled at her question. "What are you laughing at? Be serious." "Sis, when I first arrived you asked me these questions every day. Can you stop beating around the bush? I'm completely used to the weather and time difference in Australia now. The air is great and my English is improving by leaps and bounds. How long will you be staying this time?" Huamin smiled at Jixin. "About 10 days. I'll be back soon. Classes are tight there." 10 days is good. Mom will be so happy when she knows you're back." I'm not home yet. I'll go straight to Southside as soon as I get off the plane. How did you know I was on duty today?" Huamin suddenly thought of this serious problem. "Because I talked to my brother-in-law. He told me. The people who picked me up at the airport were also from his company." "Great. This guy dared to lie to me with you. I'm going to teach him a lesson when I get back." Huamin thought that Mr. Qin was too much. How could he not tell her that Jixin was coming back? He made her cry. He was too much. You've gained weight. You have meat on your face. Do you have a baby?" Jixin looked at his sister's round face. Chapter 13:17. "Baby my ass, no. I really didn't." "Oh, you're working so hard. Sis, I really want to be an uncle. That's not up to me, okay? Please. Why don't you ask your brother-in-law to work harder?" Huamin was furious. However, Jixin's next sentence was even more infuriating. "I did, and he said he's already working hard." Huamin was speechless. "Mr. Qin, you're such a pervert, you'll be a bad influence on the kids." Huamin was overjoyed when Jixin returned. He only worked half a day and left in the afternoon. He drove Jixin home. When they arrived, Yang Merong was cleaning the house. She was wearing an apron and mopping the floor with a mop. She didn't even turn around when she heard footsteps. "Mion, aren't you supposed to be on duty today? Why are you here?" "Mom." Jixin stood at the door and called out. Yang Meirong's body trembled and she quickly turned around. Back. Jixin's tall and handsome figure stood there with a smile. Yang Meirong's eyes went from shock to joy and tears. She seemed to be even more excited than Huamin. Little brother is back, aren't you going to say something? Why are you standing there? Huamin snickered. Only after Huamin reminded her did she realize what was going on. She immediately threw away the mop and rushed over. She threw herself into her son's arms. Jixin, why did you suddenly come back? I was going to come back for Chinese New Year. I didn't tell you guys because I wanted to give you and Sis a surprise. Jixin hugged his mother. This kid, really, makes me worry. Yang Meirong was so touched that she couldn't help but cry. The mother and son hugged for a while. When Yang Meirong came back to her senses, she immediately rushed into the kitchen to prepare lunch. Jixin opened his suitcase and began to organize the gifts he brought back. Sis, this is for you. You have a gift. Are you that happy? Huamin smiled as he took the beautifully wrapped rectangular box from Jixin's hands. It's a local perfume from New Zealand. Although it's not a famous brand, it smells really good. It's all natural. Foreigners like to talk about natural and non-irritating. Thank you, brother. Huamin was obviously very happy. She even took out her phone to take a picture of it as a memento. Then Jixin took out a scarf and placed it on the sofa. This scarf is for Mom. It's pretty. I saw a few of my classmates from China get one for Mom. Not bad, you brat. Now you even know to bring us gifts. Huamin sighed. There's also my brother-in-law's. I'll give it to him when he comes for lunch. What is it? Let me have a look. Huamin leaned over. I want to keep it a secret. Jixin quickly closed the box. Stingy, I'm stingy. Bite me. The siblings started acting childish. Huamin suddenly felt like they were back when they were little. He and Jixin would chase each other around the yard of their old house. So many years had passed in the blink of an eye. The house had changed, the job had changed, and the people had changed. The only thing that didn't change was their relationship with Jixin. Yang Meirong was very happy today. She made 16 dishes for lunch. There were dishes that Huamin, Jixin, and Qinchu liked. Qinchu arrived just in time for lunch. As soon as he walked in, Huamin rushed over and pushed him to the bathroom. Wash your hands, wash your hands. Qinchu smiled but didn't say anything. He followed Huamin to wash his hands. Inside the bathroom, Huamin pretended to be angry as she pointed at Mr. Qin and asked, Jixin is coming back. If you knew, why didn't you tell me? Am I still your wife? Are you still my husband? Chapter 13:18. But, you're still my brother-in-law. Mr. Qin said in all seriousness. Huamin, brother-in-law, come here, I have a present for you, Jixin yelled from the living room. Qinchu took the opportunity to escape from his wife's questioning and turned around to go to the living room. Jixin took out a small square box from his suitcase and handed it to him. Brother-in-law, this is for you. Thank you. Qinchu took the present and slowly opened it. Huamin also curiously came over to take a look and temporarily ignored the fact that her husband knew about the gift. Lying in the box was a very exquisite lighter. It was a local brand from New Zealand. The workmanship was exquisite and it was all metal and silver. The picture on it was a pair of angel's wings. On the back was an English logo. This is windproof, a lot of backpackers use it when they go camping. It's very practical. Is it waterproof? Huamin interrupted. Jixin angrily flicked Huamin's head with his finger. Sis, are you out of your mind? This is a lighter, how can it be waterproof? If it's not waterproof, then it's not a good lighter. I thought it was some weird thing, how uncreative. Jixin rubbed his nose, put one hand on his waist and then crooked his finger. Miss Huamin, please give me back my perfume. Ha, I won't give it back. Then Jixin and Huamin chased each other around the spacious living room. Jixin caught his sister and pinched her face. Huamin, who was being ravaged, seemed to be quite happy. Qinchu sat on the sofa and rested his head on one hand. He watched the siblings play with each other and his heart was filled with happiness. Finally, Huamin was tired. Huamin wrapped her arms around Jixin's neck and took a photo. The two sisters smiled brightly, especially Huamin. She rarely laughed so recklessly, but it was very beautiful. It seemed like anyone who saw the photo would be in a good mood. She posted the photo on her WeChat and Weibo. There were only 8 words in the caption. Once brother and sister, forever brother and sister. Wow, Jixin's back. He's even more handsome than before. I told you I wanted to be your sister-in-law, but you said I was old? Zhu Lingling teased. Huamin replied to Zhu Lingling, you're not just old. More importantly, you're crazy. I'm afraid you'll harm the little fresh meat, huh? Jixin replied to Zhu Lingling, Sister Ling, don't mess around. Gao Ran replied to Zhu Lingling, I'll be home in half an hour. We need to talk. Zhu Lingling replied to Gao Ran, Ha, Uncle Policeman, I'm just playing with that kid. Don't take it seriously. Huamin replied to Zhu Lingling, who asked you to show off? Serves you right. Huamin replied to Gao Ran, you can use force to deal with him, don't show him any mercy. Gao Ran replied to Huamin, don't worry, I won't show any mercy. Zhu Lingling, aw. Mr. Qin, come out and control your family's troublemaker. She's trying to sow discord. Qin Chu replied to Zhu Lingling, sorry, I can't control her. She's always been the head of my family. Zhu Lingling, look up at the sky and sigh, where's the justice? Jixin replied to Zhu Lingling, Ha, Sister Ling, your status seems to be declining now. Poor thing. At this moment, Su Yu was having the last executive meeting at Imperial Star's headquarters. He set up Weibo so that as soon as Huamin posted something he would immediately be notified. About the last project before the end of the year, I mean. Su Yu was halfway through his sentence when he heard a notification from his phone. He looked down and saw that there was a new update on Weibo, so he looked down and unlocked his phone. He opened Weibo and saw Huamin's latest post. In the photo, the girl was smiling like a flower. For some reason, Su Yu was in a good mood. He felt like his heart was about to melt from Huamin's cuteness. President Su, what did you mean just now? The vice president beside him wasn't afraid of death. He nervously asked Su Yu what he didn't finish. Chapter 13:19. What I meant was that everyone should take a good vacation first. We'll continue our discussion on the 8th of January. Okay, everyone, the meeting is over. Remember to go to the finance department to get your year-end bonus before you leave. That's all. After speaking, Su Yu picked up his phone and turned around to leave. Everyone was dumbfounded. Someone suddenly said, President Su seems to be in a good mood. What was that message on his phone just now? Did he win the lottery? Sky Blessing Court, the four of them happily finished their meal. Qin Chu had to go back to the company in the afternoon to deal with some work. Before he left, Huamin walked him to the entrance of his neighborhood. The two chatted as they walked. Honey, what do you think? Should we do on New Year's Eve? I thought Jixin wouldn't come back, so I wanted to spend time with my mom. Now that he's back, should we go back to your place? You decide. Qin Chu didn't really care about this. It didn't matter whose house they were at, they were all family. Huamin thought hard for a few seconds and then slowly said, how about this? We'll go to your place first. After eating dumplings and setting off firecrackers, we'll go back to my place. Since my mom and Jixin sleep late, the four of us can play poker or something. What do you think? Sure. Qin Chu nodded, indicating that he didn't have any objections. Then Qin Chu drove away and went to the company. Huamin walked back. The truth was she had thought about why the two families couldn't spend New Year's Eve together. But first, if her mother and Jixin went to the Qin family's house, they would be a bit reserved. Everyone knew that if they didn't spend New Year's Eve at their own home, they wouldn't feel a sense of belonging. She couldn't let the Qin family's parents come to Sky Blessing Court either. That was unrealistic. The main reason was that there was a deep misunderstanding between the Liang family, especially between Huamin's mother and Qin Chu's mother. It was also mixed with the knot in their hearts when Jingde died. Therefore, Huamin didn't want the Liang family to be together. The only solution was to have one family for the first half of the night and another for the second half of the night. When Huamin came back, he told his mother and Jixin his idea. They obviously didn't have any objections. Mian, I have something to tell you. As they sat in the living room eating fruits, Yang Meong suddenly spoke. Go ahead, Mom. Huamin peeled an orange and spoke with his head lowered. 2 days ago, Xiuping came to my house and bought me some fruits. She said she was going home for the new year and wanted to see me in advance. Oh? What did she buy? Huamin was more serious. I bought some apples. Yang Meirong was a little embarrassed. Yang Xiuping had indeed only brought 3 apples and nothing else. He even called it a New Year greeting to his aunt. Huamin understood the gist of the matter from his mother's tone. Huamin asked again, how much did you give her in the red packet? Yang Meirong raised her index finger. 100 yuan? Jixin asked. Yang Meong fell silent. Huamin straightened his back and corrected her. It's $1,000. Okay. Yang Meong nodded. What? $1,000? Mom, why did you give her so much? She came here with 3 rotten apples, and you gave her $1,000? Jixin didn't have a good impression of his uncle's family, so he was furious when he heard that his mother gave him $1,000. Huamin, on the other hand, was very calm as he continued to ask, That's not all. Did you buy things for uncle and the others? Huamin knew his mother well. Xiaoping specifically said that she was going back to her hometown for the new year. Yang Meong missed her only family, so she must have bought a lot of things. Yang Meong nodded. Yeah, I bought some beef and lamb for them as well as some vegetables that they don't sell in my hometown. That's not all, I saw that the bird's nest donkey hide gelatin my brother-in-law gave you before is gone. Jixin interrupted. Chapter 1320. Yang Meong was a little embarrassed. I thought I wouldn't be able to finish it, so I gave it to your aunt. Mom, why don't you remember how they treated our family back then? Jixin was a little angry. Forget it, Jixin, I gave it to you. It's okay, these things aren't important. Huamian, on the other hand, was more open-minded and thought that her mother was doing this out of consideration for her family. But, Mom, you're so nice to them, will they appreciate it? This was what Huamin was most worried about. His uncle's family was very weird and snobbish. If you had money you'd be nice to them, but if you didn't you'd stay away. I don't want them to appreciate it. Your grandparents are already dead and your uncle is my only family other than you and your sister. I know, it's okay, Mom. It's okay if you gave it to them. Huamin then gave Jixin a look, telling him to stop blaming his mother. Jixin listened to his sister, so he didn't say anything. After working for an entire year, President Wu specially allowed Huamin to take 5 days off during the Chinese New Year holiday. They took a break from the 29th of the lunar calendar until the 3rd day of the lunar calendar. Huamin was very satisfied. The housekeeper and maids at South Hill Manor were also on vacation, and Huamin gave them half a month of paid leave. Perhaps it was because Huamin was poor when he was young, so he paid extra attention to Chinese New Year. In the past, his mother would only be willing to spend money on new clothes and food for him and Jixin during Chinese New Year. Gradually, this became a traditional habit. On Chinese New Year's Eve, Huamin wore a bright red short jacket, black tights and red mid-length boots. He also wore a black beret. He looked very girly and extremely cute. Qin Chu's outfit was even funnier. It was also chosen by Huamin and it was a red jacket. Qin Chu usually wore formal wear and rarely dressed so casually. She and Huamin got a couple's design. They were both bright red. Perhaps it was also to set off the spring festival atmosphere. Then there was a black casual shirt and black casual pants. Red and black. It was always the most beautiful and classic combination. When the young couple dressed like this, they actually looked like newlyweds who were about to return home. It was especially joyous. Huamin did not forget to show off his love for her, and the two of them took a photo together. Then he posted it on his WeChat Moments and Weibo. Huamin instantly exploded. Oh my god, is that Mr. Qin? He's so cute. It's my first time seeing him in red. Wow, Mr. Qin even knows how to act cute when taking photos. Look at those innocent eyes. Miss Hua, please let go of Mr. Qin. Let me. Mr. Qin and Mrs. Hua are showing off their love, but I have to swallow it with tears in my eyes, because it's too damn touching. Huamin, I've always liked you. When I see people calling you arrogant and pretentious, I laugh. No matter how arrogant and pretentious you are, you're still better than those scheming bitches who pretend to be pretentious. What matters is our character. I'm your loyal fan and I'll always support you. Dr. Hua, can someone with neurasthenia eat walnuts to nourish their brain? Or do they have to take sleeping pills? Qin Chu and Huamian are my favorite couple. They're low-key and don't create hype. I love them. Mian, I heard you guys started dating in high school. Huh, so it's not a sin to date early. Lord Jesus, please give me a husband like President Qin. Everyone says that Huamin is lucky to have President Qin's love. But think about it. Mian isn't bad either, okay? She's a rare genius. If she was as ordinary as a glass of water, would Mr. Qin still love her? So, don't say that Mian is dating someone of a higher status. We don't know who's dating who. True fans, please leave this comment. Gossip, I heard that President Su from Imperial Star has been courting Mian. but she rejected him. Is that true? Huamin is shameless. He's trash. He's not as pretty as my song goddess, an anti-fan said. Then another loyal fan replied, did you forget to take your medicine when you left home? Huamin read these comments and almost burst out laughing. Honey, what are you looking at? Why are you laughing? Qin Chu looked at Huamin curiously as he drove. Chapter 1321. Huamin laughed as he held up his phone. Look at the comments on Weibo, these people are so talented. Qin Chu smiled dotingly. Huamin rarely showed off their love because back then she and Qin Chu had a secret marriage. She didn't want to hurt too many people's feelings, so she chose to keep it a secret. Now she announced it to the world. Just a few days ago she won the snooker championship and secured a 3-year contract for GK. All the major media outlets in the city were reporting on it, and many of them wanted to interview the couple. However, Qin Chu rejected all of them because he didn't want Huamin to appear in the limelight too often. Huamin didn't want to be too high-profile either. She wasn't a celebrity, so why should she appear in the limelight so often? The couple bought a lot of things and drove straight to the Qin manor. Qin Chu's parents were in a great mood and the nanny went home early. Huamin followed his mother-in-law into the kitchen to prepare lunch. Huamin carefully prepared new clothes for his in-laws. Inside the kitchen, Lady Qin wore a red traditional Chinese jacket and looked especially festive. She held on to Huamin's hand affectionately. It's freezing outside, you must be cold driving here. Oh, I'm not cold. Huamin smiled. Drink this bowl of red dates and lotus seeds first. I made it early in the morning, it's good for your pregnancy. Thanks, Mom. Huamin obediently took the bowl and sipped it. Her mother-in-law meant well, and it was normal for her to be anxious about her pregnancy. Ever since the last fortune-telling session with her mother-in-law, Lady Qin seemed to care even more about her pregnancy. She kept thinking that her babies were coming soon, and that there would be more than one. She would talk to Qin Chu's father about this every morning when she woke up. He was obsessed. It was obvious that she wanted grandchildren. Huamin helped her wash and cut the vegetables, and Lady Qin made 10 dishes. It was rare to see her in the kitchen, but the food she made was exceptionally delicious. The couple stayed until 10 o'clock in the evening. They ate a few dumplings and set off firecrackers before leaving. The coins in the Qin family's dumplings were eaten by Lady Qin. Qin Chu laughed and said, my mom is still the luckiest. Before they left, the 2 elders of the Qin family took out 2 big red packets, one for Qin Chu and the other for Huamin. Mom, there's no need for that, right? Lady Qin smiled. Take it. It's a custom. It's festive. With the red packets in hand, the 2 of them got into the car and left the Qin family. Qin Chu directly handed his share to Huamin. Honey, I'll keep it for you. Huamin smiled and opened it to take a peek. There was actually 50,000 yuan inside. No wonder it was so thick. Huamin had earned another 100,000 yuan. His parents-in-law were really rich. At this moment his phone rang with a notification. Huamin turned on her phone. Obviously Zhu Lingling sent him a red packet. Huamin opened it and saw that it was 188. 88. It said, Happy New Year, girl. Then one after another she received red packets from her colleagues, her assistant Jixin and Gao Ran. There was even a red packet from President Wu. President Wu was generous and directly transferred 8,888 yuan to her via WeChat. Qin Chu glanced at it and smiled. Wu Zhongxing is too stingy. He should have at least sent 88,000 yuan. Huamin pursed her lips and smiled. She pinched Qin Chu's nose. Honey, you can't be so greedy. I'm the only one who can get President Wu's money. I swear, other doctors don't have that much. Huamin's guess was right. Other doctors didn't have that much money, they didn't even have that much. They even took the initiative to send it to President Wu. Therefore Huamin was an exception. Over the past year Huamin had brought about earth-shattering changes to the hospital and made a huge contribution to the reform of Southside. Winning 2 domestic and international awards in a row also made President Wu very proud and superior in the eyes of his peers. The couple was happily chatting when Huamin received another transfer. It was from Huasiqian. It wasn't a lot, but the number was a little sensitive. It was 13,140 yuan, a little over 10,000 yuan. However, the number 1314 was very suspicious. Happy New Year, Mian, Huasiqian added. Huamin felt a little awkward. She clicked on the reject button. She really had no reason to accept 1,314 yuan. This kind of promise was enough for her to give to Qin Chu. What's wrong? Qin Chu asked, seeing that her expression was a little off. Chapter 1322. Hua Xiqian sent me a red packet. Hu Min took out his phone and showed it to Qin Chu. Qin Chu's eyes darkened when he saw the number 13,140. Hua Xiqian was getting more and more restless. After Hu Min rejected it, Hua Xiqian didn't respond. In the end, Qin Chu didn't say anything. He was still worried that Hu Min would feel burdened. However, Hu Min could vaguely feel that Hua Xiqian had changed recently. Ever since he married Song Yisher, this whole thing seemed to have become more and more complicated. Although Hua Xiqian didn't say anything, the way he looked at Hu Min every time, it was very thought-provoking. Don't be scared, it'll be fine. Qin Chu looked at Hu Min with worry in his eyes. His right hand tightened around Hu Min's left hand. Hu Min didn't say anything and leaned his head on Qin Chu's shoulder. It was already 10:40 p.m. when they arrived at Sky Blessing Court. Yang Mirong finished making dumplings and was waiting for the two of them to come so she could cook them. As soon as Qin Chu walked in, Jixin dragged him outside to set off fireworks. The fireworks for both families were provided by GK. There were a lot of them and they were beautiful. The three of them stood at the door and watched for a while. Finally, they went inside to eat. Qin Chu and I were waiting to eat your dumplings, so we weren't full just now. You're greedy. Yang Mirong smiled and picked up another dumpling for Hu Min. Mom, you're biased towards sis, I want one too. Jixin pouted like a child. Yang Mirong picked up another dumpling for Jixin and then picked up another for Qin Chu. Thanks, Mom. Qin Chu was very polite. Ouch, it hurts. Jixin yelled as he took out the only gold coin in his mouth. It was a northern tradition to put gold coins in dumplings. Normal families would use 50 cents instead, and each family would put one in the dumplings. Legend has it that whoever ate it was the luckiest person in the world. It seemed like Jixin was also a lucky person. Humph, you ate it again. Hu Min pretended to be angry. I'll sell it to you for 100 yuan, what do you think? Jixin flaunted the gold coin. Hu Min pouted and pretended to be angry. While he was eating his dumplings, he suddenly hurt. Ouch. That hurts. Hu Min froze when she saw the gold coin. Mom, how many did you release? Hu Min yelled. Before Yang Mirong could say anything, Qin Chu silently took out the third gold coin from his mouth. One for each of you. I hope that you three are the luckiest people in the world, Yang Mirong said slowly. Hu Min's eyes were slightly wet. Mom. She choked on her tears and couldn't say anything. Her mother was so thoughtful that she thought of putting 3 gold coins in the dumplings. She also secretly made a mark so that when she picked up the dumplings for the 3 of them, she gave each of them a gold coin in the dumplings. Hu Min always thought that her mother was the kind of person who didn't care about anything. He didn't expect her to be so meticulous. After dinner, Yang Mirong took out 3 big red envelopes and gave one to each of them. Hu Min, Happy New Year, Mom. I hope you're healthy. Qin Chu, Happy New Year, Mom. Happiness is always with you. Jixin, Happy New Year, Mom. I hope you can have a grandchild soon. Hu Min, little brat, why don't you let Mom have a grandchild soon? Hu Min protested. I'm still young. I'll leave this heavy responsibility to sis and brother-in-law. You guys have to work hard. Then Jixin got up and ran upstairs with the red envelopes. He began texting his classmates on WeChat. Hu Min opened the red envelopes and took a peek. 10,000 yuan per person was a lot for her mother. Qin Chu still gave the red envelopes to Hu Min for safekeeping. He was a filial husband. Just then someone knocked on the door. Hu Min got up and opened the door in surprise. Hello, is this Miss Hu Min's home? Yes. You have an urgent delivery, please sign here. The delivery man handed a small box to Hu Min. Chapter 1323. During Chinese New Year, many delivery companies were on holiday, leaving only the hard-working delivery companies. Hu Min was confused as to who would mail her something during Chinese New Year. Moreover, it was mailed to Sky Blessing Court. Not many people knew her mother's address. Could it be a prank by Gao Ran and Lingling? Hu Min held the box nervously. It was a small box about the size of her palm, and it was square in shape. She hesitated for a long time, not daring to open the box. What's wrong? Qin Chu walked over and hugged Hu Min's waist. Honey, Can you open it for me? I'm scared. I'm scared of spiders, snakes, cockroaches. Huamin hated pranks the most. Qin Chu couldn't help but laugh. He took the box and slowly opened it. To his surprise, it was a white jade gourd. It was only 3 centimeters tall and was beautifully crafted. The color was beautiful, smooth and stunning. A gourd? Huamin was a little surprised as she carefully picked up the gourd. It was a gourd dangling from a golden string. It was obviously worn around her neck. Who gave it to you? Huamin curiously searched the box but she couldn't find a name. There's no name. Qin Chu was curious as well. Huamin shook her head. Then she held the white jade gourd in her hand and was at a loss. Gourds were one of the mascots. Because they were homonyms for fortune. Many people wore them to ward off evil spirits and ensure their safety. Huamin was very puzzled when she received an unsigned gift on Chinese New Year's Eve. She took a picture and posted it on her WeChat friend circle. She asked who it was but no one admitted it. It wasn't Gao Ran or Lingling nor was it Xiao Wei. Not even Hua Xiqin. Could it be Ziyu? Huamin thought about it and sent a private message to Su Yu on Weibo. Are you there? Yeah. Have you ever given me a New Year's gift? So, are you reminding me to give her a gift? Su Yu sweated. No, I just received a mysterious gift. I want to ask if it's from you? No. Oh, okay. Huamin was about to go offline. She saw that Su Yu had sent a red packet with the words Happy New Year written on it. She wanted to refuse but then she saw Su Yu say, take it. It's just a few dollars. It's for luck. Huamin was embarrassed by his words and immediately accepted the red packet. It was indeed only 88. This way Huamin would feel a little more at ease. She really couldn't accept Su Yu's huge gift. After all, they didn't have such a good relationship. Huamin didn't hide it and showed the record to Qin Chu. Honey, look, it's not Su Yu either. That's weird. Qin Chu kept looking at the gourd. Finally he said, this thing is priceless. I don't think an ordinary person could afford to give it to her. What do you mean? Huamin didn't know anything about antiques, so she naturally didn't know how much these things were worth. Therefore she was dumbfounded. This is made of high-quality white jade. The color is very good and it's flawless. It's the best of the best. And the workmanship, it's definitely not made by an ordinary person. I think it's worth at least 10 million. I'll ask an expert tomorrow. 10 million. Honey, I really don't know who gave it to you. I didn't do anything to hurt you. Huamin looked wronged. Qin Chu pinched her face lovingly and smiled. I know. Wait. Let me look at the number on the delivery form and check the logistics information. Huamin scanned the QR code, but in the end she was disappointed to find that the information couldn't be verified. It was like seeing a ghost. This delivery was like a pie falling from the sky. At the same time, on an island in the South Pacific Ocean, a girl in a yellow beach dress with long hair was at a shooting range by the sea. She held a black pistol aimed at the bullseye and fired continuously. Then, she hit all 10 targets. Boss, drink some water and take a break. The well-built assistant walked up and handed her a bottle of mineral water. The girl unscrewed the cap and took a sip. Then she blinked her big eyes and asked, do you think she'll like my New Year's gift? Chapter 1324. Boss, I'm sure she'll like your gift. Don't flatter me, the girl emphasized. I'm not flattering you. The most important thing is that there's only one white jade gourd in the world. It's priceless, the assistant replied solemnly. The young girl was so amused by him that she couldn't help but laugh. I miss her so much. But Dad won't let me go find her. So annoying. The professor is doing it for your own good. The situation is tense right now. What if, I know? It's good to see her living a peaceful and happy life. If she can live a peaceful and happy life like this, it's okay even if I don't want to acknowledge her. Dad and I have had a hard time. We've been homeless all these years and I really don't want her to be involved in this. She's lucky to have a sister like you. You didn't go find her not because you don't love her but because you've been protecting her. Ah, forget it. Let's not talk about it anymore. It's Chinese New Year. What's wrong with bitch Qiao? Yes. Young Master Qiao wants you to go back within 3 days or else. The assistant stopped mid-sentence. Or else what? The girl turned around and pouted at her assistant. I don't dare to say. I'm afraid you'll kill me, the assistant said guiltily. Say it or else I'll kill you right now. The girl picked up her gun and pointed it at her assistant's head fiercely. Young Master Chow said, "If you don't go back in 3 days, he'll put you on the wanted list." Bitch Chow is so despicable. Motherfucker. Let him be on the wanted list. I don't believe that even Interpol can't do anything to me. As Interpol's most wanted criminal, she had been traveling around the world peacefully for years. What could Bitch Chow do to her? She turned around and shot again. She didn't even need to aim, but she still hit the bullseye. As the top scholar of West Point and a talented Chinese girl, her marksmanship was among the top 10 in the world. However, someone like her was a weirdo. Unless she wanted to find you, you would never be able to find her. Then the girl casually threw the gun on the ground, grabbed the scarf her assistant handed her, put it on and left. The spring festival that he had been looking forward to for a year had passed so easily in the blink of an eye. Huamin did not even have the time to watch the spring festival gala properly. Perhaps he was too sleepy. Huamin woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning on the 4th day of the first lunar month. Qin Chu was still asleep. He was too tired recently and could only sleep well when he was with Huamin. Huamin opened the drawer again and took out the white jade gourd to study. Qin Chu had already asked an expert to appraise it, and the result was very surprising. It was said that this was a gift from a certain prince of the Han dynasty to his beloved princess. Later it was buried in the ancient tomb as a funerary object. Many years later, it was stolen by grave robbers and then drifted overseas. 3 years ago, it was bought by an unknown mysterious buyer at a well-known auction house in Athens. At that time the price was $120 million per pair. In other words, it would cost 720 million yuan, which was a sky-high price. What blue and white porcelain? Tang tricolor was simply too weak, okay? The reason why it was priceless was not only because the owner of the white jade gourd was a princess of the Han dynasty. The most important reason was that this piece of jade was rare and priceless. Moreover, it was polished by the most famous craftsman of the Han dynasty. It was a rare treasure that was priceless. Qin Chu later laughed and said, "Honey, you're a rich woman now. I'm going to pay you in the future." Huamian had never imagined that she would become a billionaire all of a sudden. This white jade gourd was actually a pair, but she received one. So, the other gourd was still in the hands of the person who gave her the gift? Then, who was that person? Chapter 1325. Huamin had a strong feeling that this person was her loved one. They were going to meet sooner or later, right? At this thought, Huamin was unusually excited. She repeatedly stroked the white jade gourd and didn't want to let go. In the end, she hung it around her neck. The gourd had the effect of attracting wealth and warding off evil spirits. High-quality jade also had the ability to protect its owner. It was said that if one wore it for a long time, it could connect with their owner's heart. Huamin decided that from this moment on she was going to wear it until she met that person. "Honey, it's still dark, why don't you sleep a little longer?" Qin Chu woke up groggily. He reached out and hugged Huamin. She didn't expect Mr. Qin to be so grumpy when he woke up. What a surprise. "I can't sleep. Are you still thinking about the gourd?" Qin Chu leaned forward and kissed Huamin's cheek. "Honey, who do you think gave it to me? Isn't it too expensive? They bought a pair for 720 million yuan, and now they're giving me one of them? I suddenly have 360 million yuan. That's scary. Winning the lottery is nothing compared to you. Honey, you're the one who suddenly became rich." Qin Chu joked. Huamin smiled and rested her head on Qin Chu's chest. Ever since she received this gift, Huamin was in a good mood. It wasn't because of the money but because this person might be related to her by blood. Huamin imagined countless times that her fated relative, sister or brother. Later, when she actually met that weird girl, Huamin realized that her genius was so weak. Compared to her, she was nothing. She was the one with a genetic mutation, okay? Huamin hugged Qin Chu coquettishly and didn't get up until 7 a.m. After a simple breakfast, the two of them drove to work. On the 4th day of the first lunar month, there were very few people at Southside. There were few patients and few doctors, and many of them were still on vacation. Huamin went into his office and organized the information for an hour. He looked at the registration records on the computer. There wasn't even a single neurologist. How idle. At this moment the assistant knocked on the door and walked in. "Director, someone is looking for you." "Let her in." Huamin nodded. Then Xiaowan walked in with a cardboard box. She was dressed much better than usual. Her clothes looked like they had just been bought. Big sister Xia, why are you here? Huamin quickly got up and poured a cup of hot water for Xiaowan. Dr. Hua, these are the pork sausages I bought in the countryside. They're clean and delicious. I made a box for you. Big sister Xia, you're too polite. I can't finish so many. I'll just try one or two of them. They're easy to store. If you can't finish them, you can put them in the fridge. They're really delicious. Shuai Shuai and I both love them. I made a box for Enai Yang too. He likes them very much. Xiaowan seemed to be in a good mood. Thank you. Huamin carefully took the box and placed it on the floor of the office. Huamin had always thought that the woman who abandoned Enai Yang was a cruel and merciless woman. When he first met Xiaowan, he also thought that she wasn't easy to get along with. It wasn't until later that Huamian understood her pain and difficulties that she helped her. Only then did he realize that Xiaowan was actually a good person. It was just that her fate was a bit too complicated. Xiaowan had always remembered Huamin's kindness and used her own methods to repay him. Previously, she personally bought wool to knit a hat and scarf for Huamin. Sometimes she even gave Huamin some eggs and local specialties. Now she even gave him the sausages she made. Although they weren't expensive, the thought was important. Big sister Xia, how's your relationship with Enai Yang now? Huamin had been busy lately. Plus, it was the end of the year and Enai Yang had to travel all over the country to attend various TV parties. In the blink of an eye, they hadn't seen each other for more than 20 days. His phone was also under the care of his agent, Sister Ingzi, so Huamin didn't have time to ask Enai Yang. Now that Xiaowan reminded her, she finally remembered to ask. Chapter 1326. Xiaowan smiled. It's good, I'm already very satisfied. He didn't come back because he was streaming the Spring Festival Gala on New Year's Eve, but he did call me to tell me that he was safe. Shuai Shuai and I saw him sing on TV. Shuai Shuai was so happy when he found out that he was his older brother. He kept saying that he wanted to show off at school. Huamin could tell that Xiaowan was very content and happy. That's good, Enai Yang is actually very soft-hearted, he's just stubborn. He'll always remember how good you are to him, Huamin added. Xiaowan nodded. Yeah, he's flying back to the city tomorrow night. He'll come to my place for dinner with me and Shuai Shuai. Dr. Hua, do you want to come too? I'll pass. I just came back from vacation and I have a lot of work to do. You guys have a good family reunion. Feel free to call me if you need anything. Okay, Dr. Hua, I won't bother you anymore. After Xiaowan left, Huamin was actually quite happy. In her opinion, the reconciliation between Enai Yang and his mother was something to be happy about. At least, Enai Yang wouldn't be alone anymore. He wouldn't be a pitiful person who didn't even have someone to share his honor with. Just then her phone beeped with a notification. Huamin opened her phone and saw that Zhu Lingling was showing off in her best friend's WeChat group. Zhu Lingling, Halala, Happy New Year to the two beauties. What are you guys doing? Huamin, I'm on duty at Southside. It's my first day at work. Jiang Xiaowei, I'm having dinner at my mother's place. Zhu Lingling, guess what I'm doing? Huamin, exercising with the police? Jiang Xiaowei, with Captain Gao. Zhu Lingling, fuck, you guys are so impure. Can't you guys have a nice chat? Let me tell you guys, I'm sunbathing in Bali right now. Are you jealous? After that, Zhu Lingling sent a picture. In the picture, she was wearing a hot bikini and resting on a beach bench with a glass of juice in her hand. Zhu Lingling was beautiful and had a great figure. After photoshopping, she was indeed pretty and she didn't lose out to female celebrities. Huamin, why didn't you say anything? Did you go to Indonesia? Is all? Jiang Xiaowei, why didn't you go to the Maldives? Is Bali interesting? Zhu Lingling, interesting. Why else would this be a popular destination for celebrities to get married? It's not easy for my police officers to get annual leave and I got it for them. At the end of the year our airline company will give out benefits, and our round-trip tickets are free. Isn't that great? Huo was Jiang Xiaowei. Not bad. I want to go out and play too. I really want to go to Barcelona. Unfortunately, I've become a panda and I'm heavily protected. I can't go anywhere. Even if I go fishing at a resort in the suburbs, I have to be followed by bodyguards and nannies. It's so annoying. Zhu Lingling, Mian, are you coming? Why don't you and Mr. Qin come too? We'll go back together after a few days. Huamin, I'm not going. I'm already at work. If I continue to take time off, I'll be letting down the 8,888 yuan that our President Wu gave me. Zhu Lingling, old Wu is quite nice to you. Jiang Xiaowei, that's because my Mian made him proud. Those 2 awards are very valuable. She's the first person in the South District to win these awards. Huamin, alright, you 2 can stop flattering me. You guys talk, I'll get back to work. Huamin didn't really want to chat during work hours. After all, she was a doctor and couldn't neglect her duties. So after a few words she switched to do not disturb mode and put down her phone. Just then her phone rang again. She picked it up and saw that it was an unfamiliar number. Huamin hesitated for a few seconds before picking it up. Huamin, Happy New Year. Chapter 1327. Xiaoxue. Huamin recognized Wu Xiaoxue's voice. Xiaoxue, you're back in China? Why didn't President Wu tell me? Huamin was pleasantly surprised. No, I'm still in Chicago. Then, how are you doing? How's the baby? I'm fine, and Xinyu's been a good girl. Wu Xiaoxue seemed to have matured a lot after the divorce. That's good. I miss you, so I called to ask if you have a baby yet. Not yet. Huamin smiled awkwardly. It's okay, you can't rush this. It's not urgent anyway, just let nature take its course and keep a good mood. I will. Are you in contact with Ning Xian? Wu Xiaoxue asked hesitantly. What? Nothing. I heard from my uncle that a while ago he went to my uncle in private and kowtowed to him. He wants to come back to work at the hospital. He doesn't seem to be doing well outside. Then what did President Wu say? My uncle said, it's not that he doesn't want to give him a chance, but his skills are limited. As an ophthalmologist, he can't even write an academic article about ophthalmology. The first hospital won't accept someone like him. Oh. Huamin nodded. She hadn't seen Ning Ziyuan in a long time and almost forgot about his existence. They hadn't seen each other since their argument last time. Xiaoxue, do you still hate him? To be honest, I don't hate him anymore. When I look at Xinyua's eyes, I think she's quite pitiful without a father. Actually, I called to ask if you could talk to Ning Ziyuan and ask him if he's willing to come to Chicago. Xiaoxue. Huamin wanted to say something but stopped. I know what you mean, he's not trustworthy, but I still want to give him a chance. Not to be my husband, but to be Xinyua's father. I understand. Don't worry, I won't persuade you to give up. We're both outsiders, you're the one involved. I'll always respect your decision. Thank you, Mian. After hanging up the phone with Wu Xiaoxue, Huamin was actually quite happy. Ning Ziyuan might have done a lot of bad things in the past, but he was still Xinyua's father. If Xiaoxue was willing to give him a chance, then as a passerby she had no right to ask. She secretly noted this down and decided that if she had the chance to see him, she would ask for his opinion. As there were not many patients in the afternoon, the headquarters sent a mass message to inform the doctors on duty that they could leave work an hour earlier. Huamian drove straight to GK headquarters. To their surprise, they ran into Mo Schweyer at the entrance. She was wearing a bright red fur coat and heavy makeup, looking extremely flirtatious. Huamin didn't understand why Hu Xiqian, who was obsessed with looks, didn't love Mo Shui. She was already a rare beauty with a strong aura. Huamin was just about to say something when she saw Mo Schweger walking towards her. However, Mo Schweger walked right past her, completely ignoring Huamin's existence. Huamian's expression immediately turned awkward. She didn't know why Mo Schweger suddenly acted like this. She turned around and saw Mo Schweyer walk towards a black Range Rover on the side of the road. The person driving the car was Jiang Yi. Jiang Yi saw Huamin looking over and waved at her. Huamin's face was expressionless as she turned around and walked into GK. After Mo Schweger got into the car, Jiang Yi smiled and asked, "You're so cold today. How could you ignore a young lady?" "She's not my friend, why should I talk to her?" Mo Schweyer sneered. Stop looking for excuses. It's because of Hu Xiqian, right?" Jiang Yi smiled. Chapter 1328. You're so annoying. Hurry up and drive, stop talking nonsense. Mo Schweger didn't seem to want to mention Hu Xiqian's name, so her face darkened. Jiang Yi knew what she was thinking, so he drove Mo Schweger away. Huamin went straight to the president's office, where Qin Chu was assigning tasks to a few executives. When Huamin walked in, he sat in the corner of the sofa, not daring to disturb them. "A young lady, here's your milk." Assistant Yang walked in with a cup of warm milk. Ever since Huamin told him to prepare for pregnancy, Assistant Yang had been obedient and changed his coffee and tea to warm milk. Huamin never got pregnant, so the more he drank, the more awkward he felt. "Okay, that's all for today. I want to see results at the beginning of next month." "Yes, President Qin. You guys can leave now." Upon hearing Qin Chu's order, the executives turned around and left. "Good afternoon, a young lady." "Good afternoon, a young lady." The executives didn't forget to greet the lady boss when they saw her. Huamin smiled and nodded at her. After everyone left, she stood up and walked over. Then she intimately sat on Qin Chu's lap and wrapped her arms around his neck. "You're so busy every day, isn't it boring?" "It is." Qin Chu nodded. "Then, how about you go to South Side and be a doctor for a few days and I'll be the president for a few days?" Huamin joked. "That's a good idea." Qin Chu continued to nod. "Huh, forget it. Being a doctor is actually very simple. All you have to do is treat patients. Yours is too complicated. It's giving me a headache." Because GK was involved in too many industries. As the president, Qin Chu was often overwhelmed with work. "Huh. What's this?" Huamin looked down and saw a gift box on his desk. "I don't know, Assistant Yang just brought it in and said it was for me. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet." Qin Chu didn't seem to care about these things. "You have deliveries too? Let's take a look. Is it also a priceless treasure?" With that, Huamin took the initiative to open the box. Inside was a Versace men's shirt. It was black with diamonds on the cuffs. It was very luxurious. Qin Chu had this shirt. Huamin remembered that when he bought it, the price tag was more than 80,000 yuan. Who is so generous to give you such expensive clothes? Who knows? Qin Chu's expression was indifferent. Huamin picked up the clothes. There was a pink card at the bottom. "President Qin, Happy New Year. Good luck at work." There were only 2 words signed off. Linyu. Huamin was suddenly enlightened. Jiang Linyue? This woman still hasn't given up? She was even more determined than Song Yisher. Huamin was impressed by her. After seeing the card, Qin Chu quickly took the clothes from Huamin and threw them into the trash can. "Why did you throw them away?" "What else? I have to wear them," Mr. Qin said proudly. Huamin couldn't help but laugh. "You can give them to Assistant Yang. Would he dare to wear them? His wife will make him kneel on a durian when he gets home." As soon as Qin Chu said this, Assistant Yang came in to deliver some documents. Upon hearing this, he immediately corrected Qin Chu. "You're wrong, sir. My wife wouldn't buy something so expensive for me to kneel on. I have 2 pots of cactus at home." Qin Chu. Huamin. Huamin didn't expect Jiang Linyue to give Qin Chu clothes, but it didn't affect his mood. After all, she was just a small fry who didn't even know how long she had to wait in line. It wasn't worth mentioning. "What are we eating after work?" Huamin asked coquettishly. "Huamin, speak properly," Huamin protested. "You asked me, so of course I'll tell you what I like," Qin Chu said innocently. "Honey, Uncle Li and the others aren't back yet. It's too troublesome to cook by ourselves. Let's go eat Japanese food." "Sure." Huamin waited at the company until 5:30 p.m. before Qin Chu got off work. The 2 of them drove to a famous Japanese restaurant. When the car stopped, Huamin was slightly surprised to see a woman walk out. "Why is she here?" Huamin muttered to himself. Chapter 1329. Qin Chu looked in Huamin's direction and was very calm when he saw who it was. Yang Xiaoping was just a passerby in Qin Chu's eyes. Yang Xiaoping showed up at a famous Japanese restaurant on the 4th day of the first lunar month? Wasn't that strange? The food here wasn't cheap and a meal here cost at least 1,000 yuan. Didn't Yang Xiaoping say that she was going home for Chinese New Year? Why was she back so soon? She was dressed nicely and didn't look like a village girl at all. However, it was still a funny combination in the middle of winter. She was wearing shiny black leather pants, short black leather boots and a black fur coat. Yang Xiaoping's figure wasn't very good either. She had a classic pear-shaped body. Therefore from afar she looked like a black bear. She walked out on her own, hailed a taxi and left. When Huamin and Qin Chu got out of the car and walked inside, Huamin saw a second familiar face. Song Yishuan. She was obviously surprised to see Huamin as well. Then she lowered her head and left in a hurry. Whenever Huamin appeared, the Song sisters had to avoid him. That was their bet. Song Yishuan, Yang Xiuping. Two seemingly unrelated people appeared in a Japanese restaurant one after the other. This made Huamin suspicious. However, she didn't say anything else about them. Instead, she went in with Qin Chu to eat quietly. The chef who served the food was a Japanese, because Qin Chu and Huamin were both VIP members here. Therefore, he personally brought the sashimi platter to them and complimented them in broken Chinese. Your girlfriend is very pretty. No, she's my wife. Qin Chu was extremely arrogant. Huamin secretly pinched him. Why are you being so serious with a Japanese guy? Huh. I don't care which country he's from, I can't make a mistake. There's a big difference between a girlfriend and a wife, Qin Chu continued to argue. Huamin, on the other hand, was very happy. In her opinion, Huamin was an easily satisfied person. It was the happiest thing in the world to be able to eat your favorite food with the person you liked. When the two of them were halfway through their meal, they did not expect that Su Yu and the others would also come here. This time, Su Yu didn't come with his buddies like Wei Liao and Tang Chuan. Instead, he came with several famous artists under Imperial Star. Imperial Star was once ridiculed by outsiders as there were too few male artists and too many female artists. However, it was an undeniable fact that Su Yu's management style was very good and very modern. Therefore, Imperial Star always had a good reputation in the domestic entertainment industry. Many students who graduated from film schools wanted to join the company. Su Yu only brought Jian Tong, Jiang Yi and two other female celebrities with him today. As the boss of Imperial Star, it was normal for him to treat his artists to a meal. Jian Tong liked Japanese food, so they came. However, they didn't expect to run into Su Yu and Huamin here. Jian Tong regretted coming as soon as she walked in. She knew that as long as Huamin was around, President Su's gaze would always wander. President Su, how about we go somewhere else? President Su, I don't want to eat Japanese food anymore. Jian Tong reacted quickly. She didn't want to stay in a place where Huamin was around for too long. It would be awkward for everyone. Especially President Su. Su Yu didn't say anything, however. Jiang Yi spoke up first. I don't think we should go somewhere else. This place is good. Don't go back and forth, you're starving. This place is good. You guys sit first, I'll go say hi. Chapter 1330. Su Yu was very generous and walked over to Qin Chu. Happy New Year, President Qin. Happy New Year, President Su. Qin Chu responded in a gentlemanly manner. Su Yu looked down at Huamin, who was eating salmon. Don't put too much mustard on it. It's very spicy. Then Su Yu left. Huamin's hand trembled upon hearing Qin Chu's words. He had put too much mustard on it. When he put it in his mouth, he felt like tears were coming out of his eyes. Look at you, you're acting like a child. Qin Chu didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He immediately picked up a glass of water and handed it to Huamin. Huamin took a big gulp. Maybe because he used too much strength, the water came out of his mouth. Qin Chu wiped his mouth with a tissue as if he was taking care of a child. His gaze was as gentle as it could get. A female artist from Imperial Star said enviously, President Qin is so good to Mrs. Qin, I'm so jealous. Yeah, I heard that they've been together for many years. I have a friend who works at GK and he said that President Qin is obsessed with his wife. Other than his wife, he doesn't care about anything else. He's such a good man, why don't we have that kind of luck? You guys aren't as smart as President Qin's wife. Jiang Yi teased. Jian Tong interrupted unhappily. Let's eat, everyone. After dinner, when Qin Chu was about to pay the bill, he was told that Su Yu had already paid. Qin Chu didn't say anything as he held Huamin's hand and left. Su Yu, on the other hand, wasn't in the mood to continue eating. Every time he saw Huamin, he was overjoyed. However, as soon as Huamin left, he felt like he had lost his soul. President Su, I'd like to propose a toast to you. Thank you for supporting me this year, and allowing me, a newcomer, to make a name for myself. A female artist raised her glass with a smile. Su Yu picked up his glass and slowly took a sip. After dinner, someone suggested that they go to Seductive Fox. Su Yu didn't refuse and brought the artist to Seductive Fox to book a private room. While they were playing, the door to the private room was suddenly pushed open. Huasichin walked in wearing a dark purple jacket, looking very elegant. Unlike Su Yu and Qin Chu loved black and always wore black, whether it was his shirt or his suit. On the other hand, Suyu loved the color white. It was eternal white. He would only be satisfied if he wore white underwear. Huasiqian preferred colors. Most of his jackets were orange, sky blue, coffee, and even pink. However, it was precisely because of its versatility that it appeared to be extraordinarily fashionable. How we have a chat. Take a seat. Suyu was not in a good mood, so he said without raising his head or opening his eyes. Huasiqian didn't mind and sat down next to Suyu. A considerate female artist poured Huasiqian a glass of wine. Thank you, beautiful. President Hua, you're welcome. The female artist smiled shyly. Aren't you the female lead of that spy movie that's on TV? Let me think, what's your name again? Zhang Wenna, right? President Hua, you know me? The female artist seemed surprised. Suyu glanced at Huasiqian faintly and asked, So, you came to talk to me because you want to hit on one of my female artists? His words immediately made the female artist feel awkward. She immediately stood up and left, afraid that President Su would get angry. Huasiqian, on the other hand, smiled nonchalantly and said, Of course not. She's an artist under you, so you'd better keep her for yourself. I'm here today because I have something important to tell you. What is it? Suyu hated beating around the bush, so he got straight to the point. Chapter 1331. Lord Su, are you interested in working with me? Work with you? How? Do you want to enter the film and television industry? No, on the contrary. I want you to enter the real estate industry. Real estate? Sorry, I'm not interested. Suyu had more money than he could count. If he wanted to enter the real estate industry, he would have done it a long time ago. The Su family bank could give him unlimited loans and investments. However, he felt that Imperial Star was good enough. He could entertain himself and make money. Why should he be so greedy? The most important thing was that he didn't have any time. That way, even if he had money, it would be meaningless. He would be as tired as a dog. He had to fly around every day and have meetings everywhere. I know you're not interested in real estate, but what if this has something to do with Qinchu? Huasiqian continued to ask. What does it have to do with Qinchu? Suyu was indeed interested. Are you interested in joining forces with me to defeat Qinchu? Beat him until he can't turn around. Suyu was slightly shocked. Huasiqian continued to laugh. Lord Su, this isn't a joke. I'm serious. So, you hate Qinchu so much because he dug up your ancestral grave? Suyu asked. Huasiqian, no, I just really want to defeat him. Why? Don't you think it's an interesting challenge? Mr. Li invested in our company and held a snooker competition. Actually, even if Qinchu doesn't win, we'll still work with him because Qinchu has already met Mr. Li before. Anyone who can catch Mr. Li's eye is undoubtedly a business genius. He's obviously become the leader of our company, but where do you think you and I are? I don't think we're stupider than him, but we're not ambitious enough. If you're so ambitious, you can do it yourself. Suyu said in a disdainful tone as he looked down on Huasiqian. It's not that I can't do it myself, but it's a waste of time. I don't have much patience left. I think if we work together, GK will collapse within a month and Qinchu will have nowhere else to go. Aren't you afraid that Huamin will hate you to death? He was surprised. He always thought that Huasiqian treated Huamin well. Why did he suddenly become so ambitious? Did he really not care about Huamin? That's what women do. It's not what I do. What I want is very simple. It's the result, the start of a war. Unintentionally, it's to determine the winner and the loser. The winner is king while the loser is in the wrong. The law of the jungle. Huasiqian licked his lips, still smiling. However, President Su had a feeling that his smile was creepy and made him uncomfortable. Hot, you're ambitious, Suyu sneered. I'm a man. What's the point of living if I'm not ambitious? Huasiqian didn't think much of it. So, you've decided to go against Qinchu, right? Not against Qinchu but against GK, Huasiqian emphasized. So if I work with you, what do you plan to give me in return? We can split GK 50-50 and each of us will get half. What about Huamin? Half? Suyu sneered. Huasiqian looked at Suyu with a complicated expression. Lord Su, you're so funny. I always thought you treated Huamin quite well. Suyu lit up a cigarette and said slowly with it in his mouth. I did treat her well, Huasiqian admitted. But are you sure you want to kill her? If you go against GK, you're going against Qinchu. Qinchu is in trouble. I don't need to tell you what kind of state Huamin is in. You saw it at the hospital last time. So you're forcing Huamin into a dead end. Suyu said in all seriousness, if I have a way to make Qingchu leave Mian, are you willing to work with me? Hua Xiqian suddenly asked. Upon hearing this, Suyu's expression changed slightly. So you're saying that if we succeed, GK will be yours and Huamin will be mine? Suyu asked. Chapter 1332. Suyu's words were always half-truths, so those who said they could see through Suyu with one look were just bragging. Hua Xiqian had a headache every time he talked to Suyu because this guy didn't play by the rules. Why would he always create such a weird scene? Hua Xiqian rubbed his temples. I can't promise you that. I can promise you that I'll give you half of GK, but Mian. She's a person, not an object. I can't just give her whatever she wants. It's up to her. Of course, if she wants to be with you, that's her choice and I can't do anything about it. Then aren't you bullshitting? Suyu laughed as he scolded Hua Xiqian. If Mian wants to be with you? Hua Xiqian sure knew how to play games. If Huamin wanted to be with Suyu, he would have done it a long time ago. Why would he wait until now? So Suyu thought that Hua Xiqian's promise was as meaningless as a fart. Because Suyu was scolding him with a smile, Hua Xiqian couldn't really get angry. He was already regretting his decision to work with this guy. It wasn't that he couldn't deal with him, he just needed to waste some time. What a pity. So, Lord Su, do you agree or not? Give me an answer. Originally, Suyu was the one who was impatient, but now Hua Xiqian was the one who was impatient. He felt like he would break down if he continued to talk to Suyu. Suyu took a few deep puffs of his cigarette and pressed the butt of the cigarette into the crystal ashtray on the coffee table. He replied in all seriousness, I'm not doing it. Hua Xiqian expected this, so he smiled. Okay then, I won't bother Lord Su anymore. Hua Xiqian patted his shoulder, straightened his collar and left Seductive Fox. If Suyu were to defeat Qingchu, he would have to rely on his own abilities. He would never ask for help. Was this considered cheating? Bullying with numbers? Furthermore, it was even more impossible for him to find someone like Hua Xiqian. Everyone in the industry knew that Suyu had a fiery temper, but most importantly, he had the capital. The Su family's power was influential even in the capital, let alone here. However, Suyu was actually very smart. He was very quick-witted and had a good eye for people. From the very beginning, he had never liked Hua Xiqian. He even felt that only an opponent like Qingchu was qualified to compete with him, while Hua Xiqian would always be a despicable person. Hua Xiqian focused on the result, not the process. Therefore, he was willing to use any means to achieve his goal. That was why it was said that everyone was always different. If Qingchu and Suyu were called heroes in troubled times, then Hua Xiqian was a ruthless person. He was just like Cao Cao, deceitful and cunning. However, one couldn't erase the glory that he had achieved. Huamin probably didn't know that the three men beside her were like the three kingdoms, each with their own thoughts. All she wanted was to live happily with Qingchu and wait for the birth of their baby. Hua Xiqian walked out of Seductive Fox in a very bad mood. If Suyu didn't agree, he could have just said so. However, Suyu tricked him and even yelled at him. The worst part was that he couldn't get angry. Suyu, very good, huh? After I deal with Qingchu, I'll deal with you. There's still plenty of time. Hua Xiqian smirked as he got into his flashy Rolls-Royce Phantom. On the top floor of Seductive Fox, Rick was wearing a black British trench coat as he leaned against the wall like a gentleman. He was listening to the conversation that just took place in a private room. Hua Xiqian wanted to work with Suyu, but was mercilessly rejected by Suyu. Rick and Qingchu had been suspicious of Hua Xiqian for a long time, so they had been keeping an eye on him. However, they hadn't received any news. Why did he suddenly want to deal with Qingchu? He even said that he would leave Huamin in a month. What did he have on him? Rick felt like he had to talk to Qingchu about this tomorrow. Chapter 1333. Hua Xiqian looked at his watch and saw that it was almost 11 p.m. There was no way he could go back to his mansion to sleep because Song Yisha was there. Hua Xiqian thought that he hated people as much as he did, but Song Yisha was worse than him. He didn't even want to look at her, because he felt nauseous. He picked up his phone and called Wang Shasha. The girl was still half asleep. After receiving Hua Xiqian's call, she quickly got out of bed and got dressed. She didn't even have time to put on makeup. Then she ran downstairs and waited for Hua Xiqian's car at the entrance of the neighborhood. To be honest, she looked very average and wasn't pretty at all. She still didn't know what kind of luck she had to have attracted President Hua's attention. What was even more surprising was that, after knowing each other for so long, Hua Xiqian gave her money and bought her clothes, but he never touched her. She once thought that Hua Xiqian might not be able to do it. The car slowly stopped by the side of the road. Wang Shasha opened the car door and was about to get in. Sit in the back. Hua Xiqian hated it when someone else sat in the front passenger seat. Other than Hua Min, no one else was allowed to do it. Wang Shasha didn't dare to say anything and immediately sat in the back. Then the car slowly started moving. President, Hua, you're still awake. Wang Shasha was a little scared of Hua Xiqian. Therefore she stuttered when she spoke to him. Hua Xiqian only responded coldly. Wang Shasha didn't dare to say anything else. The car slowly drove into another of Hua Xiqian's private residences. Wang Shasha had been here a few times and had even spent the night here. Therefore she was familiar with this place. Go take a shower, Hua Xiqian ordered. Wang Shasha nodded and went into the bathroom. She took a while before coming out. She originally thought that something would happen today. However, it was the same as every other time. Hua Xiqian only hugged her from behind. His movements were light and gentle. She felt a little indignant. She felt that if they didn't sleep together, they wouldn't have a substantial relationship. She just wouldn't be recognized. Therefore she boldly turned around and gently slid her hand across Hua Xiqian's chest. President Hua. Her voice was a little coy. Turn around. Hua Xiqian's face immediately turned cold. His gaze was terrifying. Wang Shasha was so scared that she didn't dare to take another step. She turned around stiffly. After that he didn't dare to speak anymore. Even his breathing was very, very light. After a long time Wang Shasha felt that she was about to fall asleep. She heard Hua Xiqian murmur gently behind her. Mian, who on earth was Mian? Wang Shasha didn't know much about the upper-class society. Therefore she didn't know who Hua Xiqian was talking about and she didn't dare to tell anyone. She felt that Hua Xiqian was a very scary person. If he said too much she might get into trouble. The next morning, the two of them got up and put on their clothes. Hua Xiqian was just about to leave with Wang Shasha when he saw Song Yisher's car parked at the entrance. Get in the car first, Hua Xiqian ordered. Wang Shasha lowered her head and didn't dare to say anything. She directly walked towards the car. Song Yisher just happened to get out of the car and walked across from Wang Shasha. As she passed by, she deliberately grabbed Wang Shasha's chin and carefully looked at her for a while. Wang Shasha was scared out of her wits. She already knew that this woman was Hua Xiqian's wife and was even Mayor Song's daughter. As the third party, wouldn't she be torn apart? Oh, what a disappointment, Song Yisher mocked. Wang Shasha didn't dare to say anything. She broke free from Song Yisher's hand and immediately got into the car. What are you doing here? Hua Xiqian slightly frowned. Seeing Song Yisher so early in the morning really put him in a bad mood. Chapter 1334. It was as disgusting as seeing a black crow cawing in the morning. I have something to talk to you about, Song Yisher said arrogantly. Hua Xiqian glanced outside cautiously. Come in. Yes, he was cautious because the paparazzi liked to hide in front of rich people's houses and take pictures. Song Yisher followed Hua Xiqian into the house, wearing a wine-red cashmere coat and 7-centimeter black boots. Go ahead, when are we getting divorced? Song Yisher asked straightforwardly. Now's not the time. Then how long do we have to wait? Song Yisher didn't want to continue this relationship for another day. Not only would she have to live like a widow, but she would also have to pretend to be a loving couple in front of outsiders. It was disgusting. Recently, she didn't even dare to see Qin Chu because she still hadn't figured out her relationship with Hua Xiqian. So she really wanted to end things. You don't have to worry about that. It won't take long, because I don't want to spend another minute with you. I used to think that you were a mysterious person as if you had a lot of secrets. But now it seems like you do have secrets, and they're secrets that you can't tell anyone. Hua Xiqian raised his eyebrows slightly and stared at Song Yisher's delicate face. That's weird, how did I know? Song Yisher said proudly. Hua Xiqian didn't answer. Because your eyes betrayed you. I just realized that you only look like a human when you're with Hua Min. Otherwise, you're no different from a beast. Hua Xiqian still didn't say anything. That woman just now? She doesn't look that great, but she looks a little like Hua Min. So, the woman in your heart, the woman that even Mo Shweka can't replace is Huamin, right? I can't believe you like your own sister. You're a complete pervert. As soon as Song Yisher finished speaking, Huasichen walked over and grabbed her collar. Have you said enough? His voice was cold. The more scared you are, the more I want to say. You're a pervert. Even if you're not related by blood, your surname is still Hua. The fact that you like her so much is enough to prove how perverted you are. Even Huamin doesn't know about this. She did, she would be so scared. She has a pervert like you by her side. Just as Song Yisher finished speaking, Huasichen grabbed him by the collar and threw him out. He fell to the ground with a loud thud. She fell so hard that she felt like her organs were being torn apart. Song Yisher, don't test my limits. So what if you know? I'm still going to say the same thing. You can go out and say it, but I guarantee that the Song family's reputation will be ruined. You won't be a rich heiress in the future. I'm afraid that even if you become a prostitute, people will think that you're not good enough. A bitch should act like a bitch. Don't pretend to be a detective to figure out what I'm thinking. After speaking, Huasichen took out a white handkerchief and wiped his hands. It was as if touching Song Yisher was a dirty thing to do. She said that she knew his secret, but so what? Would he be afraid of people finding out? Would someone as insignificant as Song Yisher be a threat to him? That would be the biggest joke in the world. He should have taught Song Yisher a lesson, but he really didn't have the time to deal with her right now. The war between him and Qin Chu was about to begin. He had to make sure that everything was foolproof. After getting into the car, Wang Shasha sat in the back seat and asked nervously, President Hua, is your wife angry? Is it because of me? Chapter 1335. Who do you think you are? Huasichen had just gotten into an argument with Song Yisher. Wang Shasha realized that she had said something wrong and immediately shut her mouth. GK Corporation Rick's fiery red Ferrari was parked in front of the GK Corporation, and he took his personal elevator to the top floor. Qin Chu had just finished a morning meeting, so he wasn't surprised to see Rick. He knew that Rick had something important to talk to him about, so he dismissed everyone else. He asked Yang to wait outside the president's office. Qin Chu and Rick's relationship was similar to Gao Rant's. Although they didn't spend much time together, their feelings for each other didn't diminish. Like Qin Chu, Rick was a man of few words. He was even quieter and cooler than Qin Chu. Therefore, many pretty girls who went to Seductive Fox wanted to flirt with this cold and arrogant mixed-blood guy. He just didn't expect that in the end, it would be captured by a novice college student who didn't know anything. Qin Chu, I have something important to say. Rick was very serious. You're getting married? Rick never thought that Qin Chu would have such a funny side to him. He felt as if countless alpacas were running through his heart, but he had to pretend to be calm. Oh, it's something else. Qin Chu picked up the Chateau Lafite from the wine cabinet, poured 2 glasses and handed one to Rick. Don't be so formal, sit down and tell me. Rick held the red wine, but he didn't drink or sit down. He wasn't as calm as Qin Chu, and he was very serious about everything. Last time when Cece asked him to pack a bowl of spicy hot pot, he drove his Ferrari there. He walked in and said to the boss in a serious tone, pack a bowl of spicy hot pot, spicy and spicy, no coriander and lotus leaf noodles for the main dish. So this was Rick's style. Huasichen is going to do something big, you have to be careful. I knew he would do something like this. Qin Chu seemed to have expected this. But he seems to have something on us, Rick added. Blackmail? Qin Chu was slightly startled. Then Rick took out his phone and took a screenshot of the most important video between Huasichen and Suyu. Qin Chu didn't say anything after reading it. With Huasichen's cautious personality, there's no way he wouldn't know that there are cameras in the private room. He also knows about our relationship. So it could be a smokescreen, Qin Chu analyzed. Yes, but whether it's real or fake, there's no guarantee that he doesn't have it, so you'd better be careful. Qin Chu turned around and looked at the heavy traffic outside the tempered glass. He smiled faintly and said, what will come will come. All the detours in life are actually roads that must be taken. Rick looked at Qin Chu with admiration. He was clearly not that old, but he was mature despite his young age. He was born to be a supreme king. Did you find out anything about Huamin's background? Rick asked. There's a little clue. On New Year's Eve, my wife received a mysterious gift that was worth a fortune. I checked the address and found that it was shipped from Switzerland. but I couldn't find anything there. I'm pretty sure that her family is overseas. I have a feeling that it's not an ordinary person. Rick analyzed. Chin-Chu smiled. Ordinary people can't afford 120 million US dollars worth of white jade gourds. You're saying she gave Huimin a gift worth 120 million US dollars. Rick was shocked as well. The gourds came in a pair. My wife only received one. So I'm guessing that it's her older sister or younger sister. Why can't they be siblings? Rick asked. You're tuning in to the Biao's Wuxiao Chronicles YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.